Alrighty folks, welcome back for some more, well, Endergenic Generators. Endergenic Generators. I'm going to put this on my Crackpack playlist, and I am on the Crackpack server right now over at Packrat's base. That's a lot of packs. Packs and cracks and cracks and packs. Anyway, but we're going to actually jump from one mod pack to another to see some different things here. So we put this together, or I put this together with Pack, and we kind of just copied an existing design and tried to get it to work, and we got it to work, which is cool, and it works, which I just said. But, and I sort of understood what we were doing, but not to much degree, and I didn't really describe it very well. So I want to go ahead and describe how this one works, and then we're going to jump to another pack and look at a different design, and then actually probably another pack and look at something else. And in the end, I don't think I'm going to build one of these for myself in this world, because there seems to be some randomness to this that I can't track down and can't figure out how to fix. So if you guys can figure out what's going on and how to fix this randomness, then I might actually use it. But anyway, so let's talk about what's going on here. This is, I'll assume you haven't seen the other one or don't have any background upon this stuff, so this is Endergenic Generators from RF Tools. And if we right click on this, and let's turn off NEI, over here on the right you can click this little open manual. Alright, so we're going to do power generation with RF Tools, and we're going to use this Endergenic Generator, which is on page 47 right now. And there's basically, this is all about shooting ender pearls from one of these to the next. And it, magically captures the power from ender pearls, and as they move around it generates power, which is pretty cool. It's a neat idea. But the way they've implemented it is that you have to do this at exactly the right time. So if you go to page 48, it tells you when it's in charging mode, it's got a 15 tick cycle, and the most optimal time to capture a pearl is at tick 10. If you go past the 15 tick cycle, then it exits charging mode, goes back to idle, and you lose. You didn't make any power. All right? Yeah, right here. If the charging cycle ends, and then it just goes back to idle mode again. Okay, so that's the first key. There are three modes: idle, charging, and holding. The first one is idle. It just sits there. It's just a block. It might be a block of stone for all you care. It doesn't do anything. It can't receive pearls. It can't throw pearls. It doesn't make any power. It doesn't do a dang thing at all. Okay. Now, if it's an idle and you give it a redstone pulse, it moves to charging mode. In charging mode, it immediately starts building up a charge, not power, but an internal charge, and it can receive a pearl. So it hasn't gotten a pearl yet, but it's building up a charge and it's waiting for a pearl. Alright, now, as we saw on this page, again, you want to give it a pearl at tick 10 during charging. And once it gets a pearl, or if it gets a pearl, then it will go into holding mode. And if it gets, okay, so we did a redstone pulse to go from idle to charging. We gave it a pearl to go from charging to holding. Now if I give it another redstone pulse, it will fire the pearl to the next generator and go back to idle mode. Or charging mode, one of the two. I can't remember right off the top of my head for some reason. But anyway, so we're going to need two redstone pulses, and we're going to need to give it a pearl to get from charging to holding. There you go. So that's the basics of how this works. And the other part, again, is getting it right on that tick 10 to make the maximum amount of power. Okay, so the thing that puts pearls into the system is this pearl injector. That's all it does. You just give it a pearl and give it a redstone pulse, and then it will inject a pearl to the adjacent generator. Now let's see, let me get out a wrench. Alright, so when we set this up, you have to link all of these together. So you right click with the wrench on one of them, doesn't matter, any wrench will be fine. And if it's already linked, it'll show you in blue where it's linked to. So we can see this one is going to throw pearls to here, and then this one's going to throw pearls to there, that one's going to throw them to there, and then that one's going to throw them back over here. So the smallest system you can make is just two generators, have one throw here and have that one throw back the other way, but it'll be too fast and you can't get to that 10 tick charge. So that's what this system is trying to do, is it's trying to get 10 ticks worth of charge. Actually it's 9 ticks worth of charge. We'll get to that in just a second. So there's two things going on here. First thing is, when everything's working right, it's got a pearl, it's throwing it, it's sending it around. So this one sends it to that 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 one, then it just keeps going around in a circle. Alright, so there's a timing involved with that. However, you will lose. Well, first of all, you have to get a pearl in there in the first place. So we haven't started the cycle yet, and we need some timing for that to work. And second of all, there will be random pearl discards, just because that's how the mod is written. So every so often, it'll just discard a pearl, and then you'll have to start over. And that's what this whole setup down here is for. Okay, so basically, let's start out with, there's no pearl in the system. That's how we are right now. We have a timer that's set for 30 ticks of delay. It doesn't matter too much. This is basically your reset. It has to be slow enough that you don't reset in the middle of it actually working, but you don't want it super long, because then your resets will take too long. But basically what's going to happen, let's ignore the input for the moment. So it's going to create, well, it is creating redstone pulses right now. We can't see it in this system because there's no glowy bits to see it, but it's creating redstone pulses on green every 30 ticks, so that should be, yeah, 20 ticks is a second, so every second and a half it's or 90 seconds, it's 90 seconds, second and a half, I don't know where I got 90 seconds, it's creating redstone ticks, pulses, and they are coming over to the green, because from green here where you got that little green color, over to green here where you've got the green colors. So basically what that's doing is telling all of these sequencers, well, giving them a redstone tick, redstone pulse, and then what they do is they delay that pulse by some amount. What the frick is there a zombie around here? Okay. Must be outside through the wall. A zombie I don't care about, but you know, if like a creeper spawns and finds me, then I'm not super happy about that, because things could blow. Anyway, where were we? Right, so these are, let's go this way. These are creating redstone pulses, and the sequencers, RF tool sequencers, basically take that, and then in this case it's going to delay for 3 ticks. Well, it's going to delay for 2 ticks, and then on the 3rd tick it will create a high redstone pulse, and then it'll go back low. So this is a way of creating accurate single tick or multiple tick if you want. You can click a bunch of these and make a longer pulse, but what we're going to use here is a single tick. Making a single tick redstone pulse. Alright, so that one delays by 3, that one delays by 6, that one delays by 9, by 12, and by 15. So what it's doing is putting additional delay in each of these channels. So the pink one fires first, then the blue one, oh, I'm sorry, that's magenta, that's pink. The pink one gets the pulse first, then, dang it, the magenta one gets the pulse first, then light blue, then yellow, then pink, and then finally orange. Well, what's that doing? Okay, so the pink one, no, let's start where they start. Pardon me. So magenta gets the first one, and what that does is, well, it hits this guy, which I don't know if that's actually required, because I think this will insert without that. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's in idle mode, so this one will move it to charging mode, but that doesn't really matter because it's not going to receive a pearl right now. So anyway, it's going to put this one into charging mode, which you do need later. It's also going to put this one into charging mode, and that's the important bit. Okay. Now, these monitors can check and see if pearls have arrived or were fired or whatever. So you can do pearl arrived, we lost the pearl in that generator, or the pearl has been fired from that generator. And this design uses pearl arrived. So what's going to happen is this one's going to fire, and it's going to say, okay, let's put you into charging mode. Then blue fires 3 ticks later, and that says let's put you into charging mode. And you can see where this is going. Yellow fires 3 ticks later. Let's put you. Where's you? There it is. I'm like, it's here somewhere. Yellow, put this one into charging mode. And then at that point, we're not going to put you into charging mode just yet because we need you to fire a pearl. I guess it's already in charging mode from this pink one, but again, I don't know if you need to do that. I don't remember. Alright, magenta, not pink. Alright, so then pink fires and says, Endergenic Pearl Injector, please inject a pearl into the system, and it gives this guy a pearl. And it will immediately fire that pearl off and start the process. Okay? So as soon as it fires the pearl off, the next thing it needs to do is go into charging mode, which is what this guy does right here. So basically, put one of them into charging mode, the next one, inject the pearl, and then put the final one into charge mode. There you go. That's what we're doing. And that's why we have sequencers down here, is for the timing, to make sure they all go into charging mode at the right time. Alright, so let's just throw a pearl in and we'll watch it go around for a second. Now, for some reason, yeah, so the purple particles mean that it's working. For some reason, I'm not seeing the discards on this mod pack. I do see it on the other mod packs, though, so that one discarded pretty quickly. Let's try that one more time. Alright, there it goes. Oh, wow. And again, they discarded quickly. So it's supposed to be 1% or 0.5% chance per tick of holding, but it seems to be a lot more than that, so I don't know. You go through pearls fairly quickly. Just trying to make one that actually goes for a minute. Yeah, there we go. So that one's actually going pretty well. Alright, so what the next thing that's happening is, once a pearl is in the system, none of this matters. This is all turned off, and that's turned off by this blue input. Basically, as long as this timer gets an input less than every 30 ticks, it will be reset over and over and over and never give this pulse, so nothing happens over here. Alright, so now what happens? You got a pearl, and you fired it, and we are on pearl arrived. So let's go to this one just because it's less confusing. Alright, you get your pearl, you fire it over here. As soon as that pearl arrives over here, this guy says, yep, pearl arrived. Okay, send a redstone tick pulse out, hits the magenta, which pulses all other magenta bits on the red net cable. Alright, so it says, okay, pearl arrived, and give it a pulse. So as soon as the pearl arrives, we give it a pulse, which moves it from, well, as soon as it arrives, it moves from charging to holding, and then it gets a pulse which says, okay, you're in holding mode, now throw it to the next bit. Alright, so now you're back in idle, I believe? Let's just double check this. How do you get back? Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. Looking for it. Alright, so now you're in idle mode, and the pearl's over here. Same thing happens. You received a pearl, pearl arrived, give yourself a tick, you went to holding mode because you received a pearl, and now you're going to throw the pearl off to the next one when you get this redstone pulse, and off we go. The other thing that's happening, though, is when this one receives a pearl, the blue also comes back to the previous one and says, okay, you were in idle mode, but now you need to go to charging mode, because the next time around, we want you to be charged up. Alright? Let me eat. So that's basically the round and roundabouts. And that took me a little longer to explain than I had hoped, but yeah, there's a lot going on here. What did I want? Oh yeah, right. So notice when we linked them, it says the distance is 2 ticks. So the physical distance between them in the world is 2 ticks. If you put them one space apart, so if I put the generator here, then it's actually only 1 tick of distance. And if you put it, I think, up to 5 away, that's still 2 ticks. And when you get to 6, I think it turns to 3 ticks. But anyway, we are at 2 ticks distance. So now we talk about the timing, because we want that 10 tick delay from charging mode to receiving the next pearl. And that's what's going to happen. Okay, so this guy shot the pearl from here to here, and then it got the redstone tick and shot it to the next one. Alright, so at the same time that that one shoots, remember this one goes back to charging mode. Now we've got 2 ticks of delay from here to here because of the physical distance. So that's 2 ticks. But apparently there's also 1 tick in the monitors, usually, most of the time, probably. And this is where it starts getting weird. So this we assume is 3 ticks. All right, so it gets it. There's 1 tick for the monitor to basically register that and fire it out, fire the signal around, and then you move it on to the next one. So it's actually 3 ticks delay between each side. All right. So when this one fires, or when this one gets a pearl, I guess, 1 tick later that goes into charging mode. So you got 3 ticks, 6 ticks, 9 ticks. Not 10, but 9, which is pretty darn close, right? So basically we are using 3 of the legs, or 3 of the sides of this thing, I guess, as the delay from one charge to the next. And that's why you need 4 of them in this particular configuration. Again, I said if you had only 2, then you could fire it back and forth, but you wouldn't be able to put enough delay in it to let it get to the 10 ticks. The only thing you could possibly do is put a delay where it holds it for a long time, but you don't want to do that because while it's holding it uses like 500 RF per tick or something like that. So you want to fire it as soon as it gets into holding mode, which is why this is set for Pearl Arrived. As soon as it's in holding mode, it sends that back out and says, okay, now move on to the next one. So there you go. That's how this works. We'll go ahead and throw a few in here and just take a look at the overall power for a second, because this is where it gets a little weird for me. So we are going to have random discards, which means this jumps all over the place. It'll ramp up to a good number, and then it'll go back down to like 0 because we got a discard. Alright, 3,500 RF per tick. That's pretty good. And you would expect them all to be, and we just got a discard because it's now back down. You would expect this to be pretty much identical on all 4 of these because they're all set up exactly the same way. And there was another discard, and you can see it takes it a second for the timer to kick in and restart the thing. Yeah. So anyway, 3,000, 3,500, something like that is the best we did before we got a discard. Yeah. So they should all be about that, right? Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, that one looks good. 3,500, that's pretty good. This one, I don't believe that quick 3,500 might have just been a holdover from the last time this GUI was open. So let's give this a sec. It's possible this one's good. We'll see. So 2,200. I think we're getting a lot of discards, aren't we? No, it's going. Alright, so this one's 2,200 RF per tick instead of 3,500 RF per tick. Well, why is that? I don't know. Not from here. No way to tell. And that's one of the reasons I'm not going to mess with this in 1.7. And that's a reason we're going to move over to a 1.10 pack so that we can see what is actually going on. Here you go. Here's another 2,200 RF per tick. So these two are making 3,500 RF per tick. These two are making 2,200 RF per tick, and it's all about the timing. It's all about that 10 tick delay, or 9 tick delay in this particular case. But why do you think these are making less? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because it's actually an 8 tick delay instead of a 9 tick delay sometimes, but not all the time. Alright, so let's move over to a pack where we can actually see what's going on, and I'll pick it up from there in a second. Okay, and here we are in the quote-unquote all the mods mod pack. It's up on the Curse launcher. I'll try to remember to stick a link in the description, but I've moved over here because RF Tools has been updated to 1.10, and of course things have changed a little bit, but more importantly, we actually have some debugging tools for this thing now. So if you take a look in the upper left corner there, you see this tooltip pop up that looks sort of like Wayla. That's not Wayla. If I get a bit closer, you can see Wayla is actually popping up in the kind of lower left there. So we have both Wayla and a new one called the One Probe, and I have I have this diamond helmet on with a probe stuck in it. So this lets me see extra stuff. So without that, I just see Wayla tooltip. With this, I get to see more stuff. In particular, that is super helpful for this. So this is the same design we've already been looking at, except of course in 1.10 we've got our Sequencers here are 4 Endergenic Generators, which have a different texture and look a bit cooler now, but are doing the exact same thing. Our Pearl Injector, and this is a screen I put up here so you can see the output of each of the Endergenic Generators without having to go into each one individually. So remember we had what, 2 of them that were at 3500 and a couple that were at 2200 or 2500? Well, now we've got 2520 and 2205 until we get a misfire, and then it all changes and we have to go again. So anyway, take real quick on the screen. So screen takes the screen controller, this block takes power, and it's getting it directly from the generator here because that generator is not doing anything else. And then you attach a screen to it and you scan it, and it says, hey, I found a screen. The screen takes these upgrade modules. In particular, you want the machine information module, and you shift right click these onto the Endergenic generators to link them up. But at any rate, we can see this is not making the same amount of power as the one we just had. Sorry about the mouse, it's kind of jumping right now. It's not making the same amount of power as the one we just had in the other world. However, I promise you this is the same setup. Okay? Matter of fact, you know what? I built this a while ago. Let me just double check. On camera. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And actually those only matter for the initial injection, so that doesn't really matter. 30, and these should all be on Pearl Arrived mode. Yes, Pearl Arrived, and Pearl Arrived. There you go. So it's exactly the same setup as we had before, and we're getting different results. So here's the good part. In 1.10, with the one probe, we can see things. So if you look at this, it says sneak to get statistics. Those are words. And now you can see over the last 5 seconds it charged 8 times, fired the Pearl 8 times. The last Pearl arrived at tick 9. It's making 256,000 whatever, 256k, and it just changed a little bit. 256k RF, but it's losing 4k because things. Okay, so the total out of that is 2520. Why is it losing it? I guess it's losing power when it's holding the Pearl, except that it shouldn't be holding the Pearl except for maybe 1 tick, and it's supposed to be 500 RF per tick. I have no idea. Let's see, 500 times 8. There you go. That's exactly it. It's holding the Pearl for 1 tick. Multiply it by 8 times that it charged. There's your 4,000. And you'll notice it's changing a little bit based on misfires and whatnot. Oh, and I've changed the config on this one so that it's a 0.1% chance. Yeah, 0.1% chance of a misfire. I tried 0, but it doesn't seem to work, so I just made it really small. So we shouldn't, or not misfire, but random discard. But we can also see from this, so there, one of them just got discarded. If I take a look at the others, well, actually it didn't show it. So usually it'll actually show why the Pearl got discarded. It'll actually say random discard on one of these or whatever. But anyway, yeah, if you look at these, it says Pearl Arrived mode. If you look at the sequencers, it actually shows you how the sequencers are set up, so you don't even have to go into the GUI. Very nice. And then the most important part is if you look at the generators themselves, you can now see last Pearl arrived at 9, 9, 9, and 9. Okay, so these are all arriving at 9 at the moment. But that's not always the case. I have seen them at 8. I've seen them at 9. There you go. There's a random Pearl discard right there in front of our faces. So now it has to restart and make some power again. And as we saw before, there can make upwards of 3k RF per tick, but they don't always. Sometimes they make 2500. Sometimes they make less than that. Alright, so I'm going to do a thing. Let's go ahead and we're going to actually I don't need well, I do need the wrench. Because I'm in creative, we're going to, all my stuff's out of place because I did this a while ago. There we go. We're actually going to replace all this and see if anything changes, because a lot of times I've noticed it has changed. Alright, you guys don't need any configuration. You guys, actually, if I pick you up, I think you'll keep your... Oh, that doesn't work anymore? Alright. If you... Let's see, these are in Pearl Arrived mode, so let's break these 4. And then let's put down 4 new generators. Doing exactly the same thing they were doing before. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And, oops, that's not right. There we go. And Ender monitors. Put you down. You down, you and you. Now, are you guys in Pearl Arrived? No, you're in Lost Pearls. So let's go to Pearl Arrived, Pearl Arrived, Pearl Arrived, and Pearl Arrived. Now, if you're gonna do this in a survival world, make sure you turn off your Pearl Injector because we just burnt up a whole bunch of pearls right there. And now, by the way, you can see that it's not working. Why is it not working? Because I haven't linked them. So you see that little red flash in this one. So it's trying to go, but it doesn't know where to go. So we gotta link you. Yeah, two ticks, 2 ticks, 2 ticks, 2 ticks. And now, there, she works. Okay, so give it a second here to get some statistics. Alright, we're back at 9 again. But I have seen them at 8, and I've seen sometimes they do more power and sometimes they do less. There you go. Last Pearl arrived at 8. Why? It's exactly the same as it was before. All I did is pick it up and replace it. Last Pearl arrived at 8. Last Pearl arrived at 8. Okay, so we got 3 of them that are now arriving at 8 and 1 that's arriving at 9. Although, just a minute ago, everything was fine. So, that's kind of where I'm at with RF tools, Endergenic generators at the moment. You can do them in 1.7, but you can't really tell what's going on. You can do them in 1.10, and you can tell what's going on, but then there's randomness, right? So these are all set exactly the same, they're all doing exactly the same thing, and yet we're a tick off. Why? Don't know, just because. And that tick actually makes a huge amount of difference, so let's just take a look at in one of these. So instead of 256, we're making 2,000, whatever it is. Well, actually, it's making 2,300 and then losing because it's holding, which it shouldn't be holding because this should be sending it off the moment it arrives. But apparently, there's a 1 tick delay in there. So there you go. I'm just waiting for that. Okay, so well, now it's 26,600 instead of the other way around. 256,000 versus 204,000. Yeah. Alright, so this video has gone long enough. I've got a few other things I've tried. Last thing I did want to just add to this video. Remember I said the number of ticks. Here's my test. So that's 2 ticks. This is 2 ticks. And this, I think, is 3 ticks. Yeah, so you got to get out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks between them before you get to 3 ticks. So I've tried a bunch of other stuff. I think we've done enough in this video. So I'm going to come back in another video and do a little bit more on a different design. And, well, I'm going to record it. I'll probably put that in another video. If I don't, then you'll see that in just a second. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the deep dive and all the techie stuff. These are cool, but I feel like they've got some issues, and I don't know if I would use it for my main power source at the moment. Especially in 1.7, since you can't even see what's going on really. Once you got the 1 probe in 1.10, then maybe. So, either way, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one.